Well, it finally happened. What am I talking about? Well, in today's episode, you're going to find out. No more commissions from TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, Interactive Brokers, or E-Trade. We're going to focus on the top three. I trade with TD Ameritrade, so I'm going to go into that. We're going to talk about Schwab. We're going to talk about Interactive Brokers. I'm going to give you some details on all this craziness and what's going on. And I'm going to tell you why you will benefit from this in a massive, massive way. So welcome back to the channel. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new to town, consider subscribing, and let's dive into it. Okay, so all this action started with Charles Schwab coming out and saying we are no longer going to have commissions for stocks and ETFs in the United States and Canada. This sent everything buzzing. It sent Ameritrade shares down 25%, and Ameritrade quickly responded and said, okay, we won't either. So they just immediately eliminated all of their commissions for stocks, ETFs. But the one thing that Ameritrade will maintain is a 65-cent per contract fee for those of you that trade options. So in amongst all this news, Charles Schwab shares fell by about 10%, and Interactive Brokers fell by about 9%. So the one question that everybody is asking is, why is everybody slashing? Why are all these brokerages slashing their commissions to attract new customers in? And the answer is simply Robinhood, Webull, two platforms that are commission-free for trading. They aren't the fanciest platforms in the world. They have limited data as far as charting software goes. They don't have customer service support teams that TD Ameritrade and Charles Schwab have, but they're still pulling investors away from other bigger brokerages. People don't want to pay extra fees to trade stocks, and when you're just getting started out and you only have maybe a few $1,000 or even a few $100, you don't want to pay $5 and $6 every time you hit the buy or sell button. So this is super appealing to those of us who started out new and just want to dabble a little bit. You want to maybe only buy a few shares here and there. You don't want to buy big lots of shares and pay the one commission. You'd like to buy a few shares here and there just to get your feet wet, but not getting eaten up by all the commissions. So Robinhood and Webull have done a nice job with their marketing. They have a nice email list. I've been contacted multiple times by them about coming on and trying out their software, giving it a go. They even offer free stock. If you join Webull, you can get a free share if you try out their platform, and then if you fund an account with more than, I think, $100, they'll give you another share of a stock of your choice, I think up to a certain, maybe $1,000 per share. But they've done a really nice job of marketing themselves, and they're sort of picking away at TD Ameritrade and E-Trade and Interactive Brokers and Charles Schwab. So finally Charles Schwab said, okay, we're going to go commission free. Now, for Charles Schwab, it's a little different story because they've reported that in 2018, their commissions income and revenue is only about 5% of their total revenue. So not a huge chunk of the pie. And a recent statistic that I just read yesterday on TD Ameritrade was that their commissions and fees account for over 30% of revenue. Now, if anyone has heard a more accurate statistic or any additional information on that statistic, please comment below and let me know. It's the only one that I could find to get my hands on at the time that I shot this video. So there's a huge difference. So Schwab sort of forced the hand of TD Ameritrade to come out and match them, because if they didn't, people were just going to migrate to Schwab. If you wanted a more advanced platform, then you didn't want to go with something simplistic like Webull or Robinhood. And I don't mean simplistic in a bad way, I just mean less features than some of the bigger brokers with the bigger platforms like TD Ameritrade's Thinkorswim or Schwab's trading platform that they're using. So to stay afloat and to keep their customers happy, they decided to go with the flow and slash their commissions. So Schwab was $4.95 per commission, and now they're zero. Big fat zero. TD Ameritrade was $6.95 per trade, and they're now zero. Another zero. Now, Interactive Brokers has also gone to zero. They did that a little while ago. They're not as big a player as Schwab and TD Ameritrade, just in my opinion. I know a little bit about them. I was doing a little research, but they didn't seem to be as affected in this as their stock only fell about 9%. So the way that these brokers are going to have to make money now that they are commission free is the same way Robinhood and Webull are doing it. And the way they are doing it is they are selling their customers' orders to wholesale market makers. Now, what this means is if you see the bid and the ask on any stock, ETF, anything that you've traded in the past, you'll typically notice, for example, let's say a stock's trading and the bid is $1 and the ask is $1.05. You might ask, what is that gap and where is that money going? Well, that's the money that's being paid to the market makers to match up the buyers and the sellers. So when you place an order and you buy, you typically buy on the ask, and if you sell, you typically sell on the bid. And the money in between, that's money to the market maker for making your transaction happen. And what they're going to do is they're selling that out to wholesale market makers in order to make this all happen. So when they sell that to the wholesale market makers, they get paid for that, and then the market makers can make the market and cover the spreads and figure out how they're going to make their money between the bid and the ask. So by selling the rights to those orders, that's where TD Ameritrade and Charles Schwab and Interactive Brokers are going to be making some of this money up. Now, if you're curious about when all this goes into effect, Charles Schwab is going to go into effect on October 7th, very, very soon. And the thing I found really funny was Ameritrade came out and said, okay, we're going commission free too. And when are you guys doing it? October 7th? Okay, then we're gonna do October 3rd. We're gonna beat you to the punch. So Ameritrade dove in early. They're gonna go live. It's gonna happen tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. If you place a trade after 6 a.m., you will be commission free forever. So far, I'm hearing no commitment of any capital on regards to the traders. It's just free. I can't even, my mind's still trying to reconcile what's going on. And overall, in addition to selling these orders to the wholesale market makers, interest income from customer deposits and asset management fees are the primary sources of income for someone like Charles Schwab and TD Ameritrade. So this is where they drive most of their income, and then I think that the commissions has just been a nice little icing on the cake for many, many years, and now it's gone. So personally, I use TD Ameritrade. I don't know a lot about Schwab. I did a little bit of looking on their platform. It looks fine. I don't know that there's a huge difference between a lot of them. I trade a lot of options, so when I'm using TD Ameritrade, I really enjoy their options chain. And the options chain is just an area that you can go to look for your options products, what you want to, basically what contracts you want to write. You can go to it, and it's very informative, very easy to use, very intuitive, and executions are really quick. So I think Ameritrade is really, really nice for trading options. But the charting software for TD Ameritrade, I really haven't found any other charting software that matches it, just in my opinion. I've been very happy with it. If you've watched any of my videos in the past, you've seen the color schemes change from dark, and now I have a white screen, it's light. So I can customize colors. I can use alerts, which are super helpful, because if you're waiting for a stock to cross a certain threshold level and then you want to buy, you can just set up a nice alert. It'll ding, it'll let you know. You can even have it message you. They've done a lot of really nice stuff in the Thinkorswim platform, and that is the name of the TD Ameritrade platform for trading is Thinkorswim. Connecting TD Ameritrade to your bank account, transferring money back and forth has been just a very simple process. I've had no issues with it. So if any of you have questions or anything about TD Ameritrade and about Thinkorswim, drop them below and I'll do my best to answer those. I've been using TD Ameritrade for about probably almost 15, 16 years now. It's just been a good experience overall, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who wants to get into trading. And hey, now you don't have commissions. What excuse do you have not to just start trading? So there you go, there's that. But if anybody has any questions about anything regarding this crazy shift in the landscape in terms of commissions and fees for Schwab, TD Ameritrade, or Interactive Brokers, please drop them below, let me know. I appreciate all the love. Thank you guys for checking in and watching this video, and we'll see you tomorrow.